Hey, welcome back, guys. Nope Radio, blasting in your ear. And you know what? You're listening to That Damn Morning Show. We were just sitting here talking about interesting things that Derek made as a small child to play with since he was poor and lived. Did you live below the hill or above the hill?
This was the. I'm not going to say I was necessarily poor, but I just like to be creative. You know, sometimes.
Wouldn't that be considered like folk art now? Could you sell that for a lot of money? Oh, well, Derek don't get rid of shit.
I wonder if Derek's autistic. Did you ever get tested for that?
No, I never.
Well, the fans want to know.
Any moment, it's fuck you guys and fuck this show, and that's going to be it for Derek.
I will say I know I'm OCD.
Oh, we know you're OCD. We know.
Yeah.
This guy washes his car. I mean, you've heard it on the morning show. Everybody knows in the videos out there. He washes his car in the rain. And he goes,
We need to repost that video.
Oh, yes, we do. And he's like, I do it to save water. I'm like, you got the fucking power washer out there. That's drawing water. And Kelly's like, yeah, our water bill goes up, you know. He's like, but it's got so much stuff on the drift car, all this rubber and all this stuff. I'm like, well, you know. But no.
You know,
and everybody's seen the car in the dark.
Several times. He could detail a car at midnight. He's like, the nighttime is the right time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go.
But no, we don't think you're mentally challenged.
It's probably.
We're all mentally challenged. There's something wrong with every one of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're all a little bit of special.
Yeah, Kelly's gonna come back tomorrow and be like, "What's wrong with Derek?"
Oh, she'll probably be chime right in and talk about how mentally challenged I
am. Oh, how funny! Yeah, we. Hey, you know, I walk into walls. I mean, fucking, there ain't no joke about that. Just hang out with, like, I'm really good at aggressive inline skating and riding freestyle bikes. I jump up on handrails and shit. Walking as a human being, I'm not so good. I never understood it.
I can say the same.
We know. We know.
I was at riding bikes and skateboarding at one time. Obviously, I've seen the videos. I can't do that anymore.
Well, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I know what Derek's thinking. He's like, man, now that I'm older, these bikes are a lot smaller. I can just flick these things around. But no, they roll just the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just hurts twice as bad whenever you fuck up.
Yeah, hitting the ground. Ground seems to be a lot harder these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes a lot longer to get back up.
As I know. Yeah, I tripped over the fence not too long ago and busted my ass. And I laid there for a few minutes pondering life.
My stairs ate me.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, we talked about that just a couple weeks ago.
That was a spicy slide ride from hell.
Yeah. What's funny, it's funny now, but doing aggressive inline skating, I've bounced down several stairs before, but I remember there was a staircase at Wash U, and it must have been because my pants were kind of slick, you know, the way they were made, and I slid down these stairs, and I thought I was done, and I went down the flat, and then down the stair, and went down the flat. So I know what Shane was saying. I'm like, man, am I ever going to stop? And everybody's like, are you okay?
Yeah, that definitely, my last 3 weeks of being a technician definitely influenced me not to work on cars anymore.
Oh, yeah.
At least for a while, because I put a pair of pliers in my lip, and then I busted my left eye open all in 3 weeks, and I had enough.
Oh, I remember that when you busted your face open. Yeah, and you know, it happens.
Was he working on rear drum brakes? Because that's when I have to
the pliers, yes. I was pulling up on it. I was like, well, this ain't too bad. And it slipped. And when it slipped, it just straight stabbed me in the lip.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, when I'm working on rear drum brakes, because I've had close calls with pulling them springs and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you another funny one. So they don't have our profile pictures up on the website yet. So some people know what we look like and some people don't. And we're a bunch of goofy looking fuckers. But Shaylin's got a beard, but it used to be longer. So tell everybody what happened to the beard.
Okay, so the first time I lost the beard,
It's happened more than
I was
once.
working. Yeah, it's been a repeat offender. I was working on a dune buggy, Volkswagen air-cooled motor, open, engine bay, and I'm leaned over on it, tuning the carburetor, and it gets caught in the belt. So it starts pulling me in, but I had my hand on the carb and put my hand over the carb and killed it. But I had to cut myself out of it with just a fucking knife.
Oh.
And then
That really happened.
Oh gosh, it was years later. I grew it again, like whenever I had my shop.
Yeah, he's going for number 2.
Yeah, I was like, well, I own the place. I'm not back here working on as much shit, so I think I could have it. No. I was welding on a car, and a hot coal fell on it and burned half of it up. So half of it was still long, and half of it was all the way up to my chin.
Yeah.
So I guess I've been on this beard for, I don't know, 7 or 8 months now.
Yeah. He since he's doing the radio, he's like, I'm gonna grow it out like ZZ Top unless I get it caught in something.
Yeah, if it'll withstand the growth, it'll be big.
I don't know how you do it, man. I mean, I'll do like that 5 o'clock shadow douchebag Justin Timberlake look, but Michelle likes that.
I do.
She doesn't like the beard, but she likes the little scruffiness. And once it starts itching, man, she'll hear me in the bathroom with the clip. I'm like,
yes.
Well, now that I've gotten older and I've got that salt and pepper and gray thing going on, it's kind of the distinguished gentleman look.
Oh yeah. I know the feeling.
I know a thing or two because I've seen the thing or two guy.
The thing or two guy. Yeah, no.
And another thing I found out before I stopped working on cars, I became that old guy in the shop that told dirty jokes and could figure out how to fix whatever the fuck you can't figure out.
Then that's when you know you're old.
Yeah.
Be like, listen here, I got a joke for you. Let me tell you something.
That whole your welding story there, I've got a pretty good one. I was welding intrusion bars in the Nopi car, and so I'm laying in this funky position up under the dash. The intrusion bars are kind of where your ankles would be. They go from the front down bar to the front firewall of the car. So I'm welding, and I had this hot amber manage to pop up, go through my welding helmet, and fall right into my ear.
Oh.
Directly into it. All I hear is all this sizzling and popping.
I've been there.
Bacon earwax in my ear. That took me about, of course, I probably should have got it checked out. I'm stubborn.
He's from the country. He's like,
yeah.
Robitussin.
I do the same shit.
I bet that took 4 to 6 weeks to heal. I was in just straight pain for, of course, of the ear. It would ooze fluid out for 2 weeks. It was straight pain for 2 weeks.
Well, I tell you what, when Shaylin worked at the shop with me, he's seen. Yeah, I went to the hospital. Every other week I do something. I had metal in my eye, and then like a week and a half later, I got metal in the other eye, and then it was like 2 weeks later, I got metal back in the same eye, and I cut my hand, and I didn't go to the hospital when I smashed my foot. I should have. I know something was broke. There was another incident. Do you remember when I fell in the parking lot on my face?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that yet again. I don't know how to walk. And I swear there was nothing to trip on, but there was something, and my feet went out from underneath me, and I just went face down. These guys kept walking. They turned around, and they're like, "You okay?" And I'm looking around like, did I trip on a log or something? Like
you're the only one that
fucking
tripped.
ghost log or something. Like, I mean,
See, in the spirit of Southern band-aiding yourself, okay, so at one
super
point in
glue
time,
works
I was
real well.
I was working in the small engine shop, and I worked on lawnmowers and weed eaters and stuff like that, but I had a bunker rake up on the lift, and what a bunker rake is a John Deere 3-wheeler that drags the rake around the golf course. Well, I was under it, and it fell off the lift on top of me. And I don't remember it, like, feeling it hit me, but everything kind of went black, and I fell back on my ass, and then it felt like somebody was dumping more water on my head because it split my head wide open.
Oh,
And I got it to chill out, and I left work, and I had blood all over my shirt and shit, and I went into Walmart to pick up super glue to super glue my head back together covered in blood, and they're all like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. It's just a scratch."
Yeah, head gashed open. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
now, Shaylin didn't work for me at this time, but you remember the story about Kenny and why we don't leave anybody at the shop by themselves. Do you remember that story? We all went to
Vaguely.
we went to the car show up in Chicago, and he had a van that it was slammed, and he was changing the shocks out of the front of it and didn't put a jack stand underneath it, and it dropped on him. And remember, he couldn't reach his phone, but he could reach the big gulp. So
Yeah.
so we come back like a couple days later, and I mean, his legs are pinned underneath this van, and here we come through the door of the showroom, and he's like, "Hey, hey," and I'm like, "Hey," yelling back, and he's like, "Fucking help me!" And I remember when we left, we had all the trailers loaded up at the cars, and we were leaving, and he was like, "I'm gonna work on my van. I got a date with my girl, and this, and this," and this. I don't know. He was yanking on the control arm, and the jack fell, and it didn't break his legs, but he was pinned.
Mm-hmm.
And he could reach his big gulp, and it was one of those super size 7-Eleven ones. And so he was hydrated for the weekend, but then he had to use it another way to,
Yeah.
because he didn't want to piss in the shop, So, we got him out from underneath it. I was like, "We got to take you to the hospital. Like, your feet are like black and blue." I thought he was going to lose his feet, and no, they just didn't have circulation. So I learned something in medical school. We got some warm water, and we had some salt, like you salt like your driveway, and we put it in this big pan, and he put his feet in there, and within a few minutes his blood started coming back, and he was like, "Well, fuck, give me my socks and shoes. I'm going home. I've been here all weekend." And I'm thinking, "Oh my God, he's gonna sue us." He's like, "Why would I sue you? I was working on my own shit." And what's funny is, you didn't know he was trapped underneath it. He got bored, and he could lift it, move a little bit, and get the shock back in there and screw it in.
God.
But he couldn't reach the jack, and he couldn't reach his phone. And he said every time his phone was ringing, he's like, "Hello, hello." It's kind of a funny story. If Kenny's out there listening, man, I mean, God, we miss you hanging out with you, man. Hell of a fun guy. There's a lot of good Kenny stories from back in the day.
That's what worries me when you work on your car, because I'm always worried if you're underneath and something happens to the jack and you're pinned underneath there and you can't call me or can't call 911. It always worries me because you're at the shop by yourself.
Well, what's interesting, guys, like out where we live, and I ride a lot of mountain bikes and stuff, and I don't wear the spandex shit. I'm out there in a GT hoodie and blue jean shorts, keeping it real. But
You're not one of those assholes that rides down the highway, are you?
no, fuck no. I still try to hit those guys, swerve at them, But in St. Louis, man, they're all over the fucking place.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go down Gravois, they made a fucking bike lane.
Some of the
See,
weird they made the bike lanes.
They're
on
not
the
in
street.
town around me. They're out in the country where you don't expect anyone to be, and you don't have a speed limit. There's no speed limit sign in the country out here.
Oh yeah.
But
What-
these fuckers are pedaling away, and you come up over a hill, and there's a line of them, and you're running. 75,
They ain't fucking around. They're moving about 40 to 60 miles an hour. I mean, they're moving. But my point I was going to say is, out where we live, it was on the news not too long ago, a mountain biker crashed. I guess he had a heart attack. And the family was looking for him for months. But they knew he went to Creve Coeur Park, right? So this is no shit. Where he crashed his bike, I rode by there. You know, this is before they found him. And I remember looking over and seeing part of the tire and the pedal. And I was like, yeah. And I was chucking it on this bike path. You know, like, yeah, some motherfucker crashed and burned, you know. And then, like, months later, it come out and, you know, they found a dead body. And then it come back out on the 9 o'clock news of who it was. And I was like, son of a bitch, I rode right by that guy.
Mm-hmm. You'd probably be surprised on how many
So-
times you ride by or walk by something.
So something you don't know.
Right.
And the big thing is nowadays, since that happened, if I go out riding by myself or I do something and it ain't like Michelle's up my ass, I gotta send a text message. You know, let your significant other know where
Yeah.
you are, you know.
where you're going. You know, you don't have to say like how long, because as long as you gives that person where you're gonna be at, then that helps a little if you don't come back or something.
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know?
something can happen. I mean,
Right.
you know, I mean, I know there's days that, you know, Kelly has to track Derek. But Derek, I don't think goes too far from the garage.
No.
No, I don't. But my uncle actually had he's an EMT, and he was talking to me. He's about working late in the garage, and he's like, "Does anybody up that can check on you or anything else?" And I said, "No," but I tell Kelly, if she wakes up between 3 and 4 and I'm not in the bed, come check on me. He goes, "I tell you what you need to do, get you an Alexa and put out in the shop. So if something happens and you can't get to your phone,
That's a
you can
good
holler
idea.
out."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about doing that. Sure.
Yeah, I think that
If
would
you-
be wise because you're out in the garage all the time, and if Kelly's in bed, I mean, she's not gonna know if you've had an accident or not.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think that would be.
Yeah,
a
I think
pretty
the
good
Alexa
idea.
works out pretty good. Shaylin kind of knows a story about an ex of mine that she got the login for the cameras, security cameras at the shop, and dude, I felt like a zoo animal. Everywhere I went, you could see the cameras following me. She was that obsessed. So yeah, the Alexa works good. Cameras.
Maybe that's what you need to get is an Alexa, at least at the shop, inside the shop, so that way if something happens, then you can still use that too.
Yeah, because, you know, guys, I like to work by myself. I really do. You know, I mean, Shaylin will tell you.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
the
to work by
same.
myself.
I'm not a team player.
Yeah, I mean, I like working with the guys when we're working on a project, but if, I don't know, I just get in these weird moods. I'd rather be by myself, like, you know, I gotta,
When I do it, I like to have the music turned up on something that I haven't heard in a while, or something that really gets me in the mood to build something.
yeah,
no
or listen to
phone,
Nopi
no
Radio.
nothing.
Crank it up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what I've been doing at the shop, you know, and, you know, the guys will go home
Yeah, because
and,
you never know what's going to come on next.
oh yeah, I mean, good, you know,
That's what I love. I love that because you get to hear all kinds of different genres.
yeah, and I think that's what the listeners, you know, and we do it for you listeners because this isn't a rock station. This isn't a hip hop station. This is an everything station. It's a Nopi station is what it is, you know, and if it ain't cool, we ain't playing it, you know, and that's just what it is, you know. There hasn't been really a song well, there's one song, you know, Ride My Bicycle, but that is a popular song. I mean, you know, some people.
There is history behind that song.
There is history, yeah, I get it. I mean, hell, you might listen to Nopi Radio, you might hear some Johnny Cash. You don't know. That's when you know the station's real. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't give no fucks over here what we play, but we play what makes you shake your ass at work.
Well, we should play like one song of Toby Keith just for a memory of him.
You know, I tell you what, we got a commercial break coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what, we're going to play a Toby Keith song because Toby Keith passed away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very sad deal. You know, so I think since we don't play Toby on here, I think we can at least do a Toby Keith song in memory of him.
Right.
Yep.
So,
Don't fully agree. I already was going to do that. I wasn't going to ask.
you need
Just
to
so
ask
you know.
permission.
Oh yeah, he tries that with me all the time, and it doesn't work. So.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I'll just ask for forgiveness.
yeah. Well, I tell you what, we're getting ready to go to this commercial break, but when we come back, guys, 187 Customs Phantom will be in the studio bullshitting with us. Gonna be a good morning. It's hump day. You behave. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.